Dial your password and press pound. You have one new message. First new message from
Plate of shrimp.
sent Friday, February 11th at 6:48 p.m.
Well, it was the spring of 1986, and I was looking through the personal section of the San Jose Metro. And at that time, when you placed a personal ad, you got a free voicemail number for a month. And also at that time, it was free to call that voicemail number. I was really bored, and I decided I'd call all the numbers and make suggestions on how to improve their outgoings. I called myself the message doctor, because so many of the outgoing messages were like, "Hi, this is Tammy. I'm 5'5", 103 pounds. I got brown hair and blue eyes. I like to walk on the beach. I'm looking for a nice guy who's respectful and honest." And, they were all just cliche, And so I would tell them how to punch up their ad and throw some personality into it and play some of their favorite music in the background. Well, eventually I ran out of numbers to call, so I started dialing numbers at random, just the voicemail numbers. And I ran across a number where the dude was saying he was part of the World Suicide Club. And I didn't know what was going on, but it was weird, and it attracted me. And he would address people by pseudonyms. He'd say like, "Hey, Fantasia, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is Remote Pineapple," or, I didn't know what it was, but I kept calling it, and eventually I would call it and then just scream and yell and cuss into the mailbox. So he would also edit messages that had been left to him, and he would replay them on his outgoing. And so he had these little collages going on. And after about 3 weeks or so, he announces that the mailbox is going to be going down. He's not going to renew it. And so I broke character, from the screaming, yelling, cussing madman to just, talking like I'm talking now. And I said, "Hey, I'm sorry to see that you're not going to renew the mailbox, and I'm a dude that usually calls at 1:15 in the morning." And then he changed the message about an hour later, and he addressed me as Mr. 115. He also announced that he was going to keep the mailbox running because he enjoyed getting the freaky messages that he was getting. And while I had stumbled across it, quote-unquote, accidentally, he had been placing little advertisements in the back of the Metro, advertising the World Suicide Club and the voicemail number, and so was apparently attracting, at least some freaks from the Silicon Valley. And eventually I placed my own personals ad, got my free voicemail box, attracted about 7 responses, and became disappointed that I wasn't meeting the love of my life, so I turned it into Club Manic Depression and started doing similar things to the World Suicide Club. And he would advertise my number on his mailbox, I would advertise his number on my mailbox, and then the next mailbox to come was this guy named Ross and Club Foot. And after him, shortly after him, Ronald Redball put out got a mailbox and started calling his mailbox the Global Maverick Society. And so we were all just, doing similar things, movie clips, song clips, poetry, and collage, taking the incoming messages, chopping them up, and replaying them on our outgoings. And it just kept building and building until it peaked around 1990, when there were about 50 mailboxes in the voice jail community. And we all didn't know each other, but we knew each other existed, But yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. Just sprang up out of nowhere and then eventually just evaporated.
Spick and span on your big-ass man, Fanjan Ran.
These are the good old days, because you mentioned the 50s. Well, these are the good old days that we're living in right now. And I tell people that, hey, to heck with the past. The past was so glorified and great. Man, to heck with it. Sure, the past was good, but man, this is now, and this is the good old days. So I agree with that. I for sure as hell agree with that.
End of message.
This is NCN.